Good morning children. Today we are going to revise the lesson temperature and heat and one more that chemicals and chemical changes. First is here we are going to discuss about temperature first. We measure the temperature by thermometer. Thermometers are of three types: Celsius thermometer, Fahrenheit thermometer and Kelvin. The Celsius thermometer, the lower point is 0 degrees Celsius. This is freezing point, and 100 degrees Celsius is boiling point. In Fahrenheit scale, 32 degree Fahrenheit is it's freezing, and or we say melting also, and 212 degree Fahrenheit is its boiling point. Okay. Kelvin scale is not given in the book, but Kelvin, why I am telling you, because Kelvin scale is we use as standard unit. Okay. So K, capital K, its symbol, and it is a standard unit of temperature. Temperature, as I told you, Fahrenheit and Celsius we take in. We can convert Fahrenheit into Celsius into Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit into Celsius by these two formulas, and children, all you know how to do the numericals. You write the value of C here and write the value of F here and solve. You will get the correct value of F and C. Is this clear, children? Now we are coming to the temperature. Temperature we measure by thermometer. Thermometer, we know there are three types of thermometer. First is mercury thermometer. All you know about mercury thermometer. And then second is alcohol thermometer. And third is digital. Nowadays we use digital thermometer. In this, what is present? Thermistor, and by this thermistor we get the reading in digits. Okay. Now come to the alcohol. Alcohol we use in laboratories generally. Okay, alcohol thermometer, and it's better than mercury. Why? Mercury is poisonous, and also mercury is very costly. Mercury thermometer, in clinical thermometer we use mercury also. Okay, in your home you must have seen this mercury thermometer. I am going to tell you about this mercury first, then to alcohol. Mercury thermometer, it's a wide range. It can measure the wide range of temperature from minus 38.87 degrees Celsius to 356.58 degrees Celsius. Okay, and alcohol thermometer can measure what is the range of this? 78 degree from minus can measure from minus 115 degrees Celsius to 78 degree. Okay, this is the range of this. Is this clear, children? Now as I told you, in clinical thermometer we use mercury. First I am going to tell you about the two characteristic feature of mercury clinical thermometer. In mercury clinical thermometer we have seen the constriction. Why the constriction is there? This constriction is there. This kink, what do we call this? Kink. This kink has been made to ensure that the mercury in the thermometer does not contract. Means it does not come back to the bulb. It does not come back to the bulb. It remains there. When we take out thermometer from our mouth, we can see the proper reading. Okay, that's all about the temperature, children. And while taking the temperature, we have to be very careful. We have to wash the thermometer with like antiseptic solution, so that any other person is going to use cannot be affected. Now come to the, okay children, we are going to now discuss about heat. Heat is what? Heat is a kind of energy, and we measure this energy by, what is the unit of this energy to measure heat energy? Joules. And we can also write like this, capital J, and this is a standard unit for measuring energy, heat energy. Okay. Now children, we are going to discuss how heat transfer from one place to other place. There are three ways the heat transfers. First is conduction. Conduction, first we are going to discuss conduction. Conduction, in this you know that the molecule, they travel from one, the heat travels from one atom to other atom. Okay. In solid, it takes place in solids. Conduction takes place in solids. Why? Because the molecules are very closely packed. Okay. So the heat transfer from one atom to other. This way it travels. So we have divided in two parts this conduction part, that the material which allows, because so many solids are there, they do not allow. Okay, so this conduction process takes place in the solids. We call them conductors, and in which it does not take place, we call them insulators. Conductors, what are conductors? Material that allow heat to pass through them easily are called conductors. Example of conductors are all metals. All metals are good conductor. One non-metal is also there, that is graphite. All metals, I told you metals, and one non-metal, what is that? Graphite. This is good conductor. Graphite. Okay, this is also a good conductor. Insulators, all like what are insulator? Material that do not allow heat to pass through them are called insulators. Are called, it is not visible here, conductor is clear, so I am writing here, all metals are good conductors plus graphite, that is what? Non-metal. Okay children. Now insulator, the materials that do not allow heat to pass through them are called insulators. Substances such as wood, straw, they do not allow cotton cloth. Okay. Clay, rubber, glass, bakelite, they do not conduct heat, so they are called insulators. And what are the practical applications of conduction? Conduction and insulator both are useful for cooking food. We use conductors, like all our cooking utensils, they are what? Made of metal, because it conducts heat quickly, and handles and all made of what? Insulators. Okay. Now convection of heat, come to the convection of heat. This mode of heat transfer takes place in liquids. This mode of heat transfer takes place in liquids. Liquids means that flows, or we say that fluids. Liquids and gases, fluids also. Okay, so in fluid what comes? Liquids and gases. Okay, what happened in this? The molecule which come in the touch of heat, these molecules, they take the heat and go up, and the colder one come down, and again they heat up and go up. This way they become light. When they take the heat energy, they become light and they go up. Same manner in the gases, like this earth surface, it's very hot during the day. The air close to the land, that heats up and goes up, and this causes sea and land breeze. Okay children. Now what are the practical applications of convection? Practical applications of convection, children. What are practical application? If we want to warm fluid, we use this application. And also, if a room has to be warmed with a room heater, the heater should be placed at lower level. You know why? It will heat up or give warmth to the gases, and these warm gases will go up, and it will make the whole room warm evenly. And similarly, an air conditioner used for cooling a room should be placed at higher level. Okay. So this is the practical application of convection. Children, we are going to discuss now radiation of heat. Heat energy can travel in the form of waves. In the form of waves. Okay. Like light energy. Heat and light. Like light energy here, it travels like waveform. Okay. These are called electromagnetic waves. Children, you know, like from the sun, the light is coming on the earth. Same way this heat is coming on the earth. It does not require any medium. It does not require any medium. I told you for conduction we need solids. For conduction we need solids. For convection we require liquids and gases. But for radiation we require no medium. No medium. Okay. So it travels like the light comes from the sun. Same manner it comes from the sun to the earth. It can travel in the vacuum also. Children, all bodies give out energy that travels in the form of radiation. Like from our body, the heat moves out in the form of radiation. Okay. Energy from the sun reaches us through radiation, as I told you. And we are bodies, and we absorb this radiation, and other bodies which are exposed to this light, all they absorb this radiation. The amount of heat energy that is absorbed by the body depend on its color. If the body is dark, it will absorb heat, and if the body is light colored, like anything, as I told you already, two boxes are there. One is white, one is black. So which one is going to absorb more heat? The black one. So it depends on color. What is the practical application of radiation, children? The practical, we use it in solar panels. Okay. Used in household for heating water, are designed to maximize the absorption of heat from the sun. A black metal sheet is used to increase the heat absorption. All you have seen the solar cells. Okay. Second, in room heater it is used as reflector. All we know, the shiny thing does not absorb heat radiation. It reflects it back. So the rod is there. The heat is coming in front to us. But the heat which is going back side is reflected back, and we are getting double amount of heat. So this is the practical application of radiation. Now we are going to discuss thermometer. How thermometer? Children, now we are going to discuss preventing loss of heat. The best example is thermos flask. I am going to explain you. You know, the outer covering and the cap is made of what? Plastic, so that heat cannot move out by conduction. The inner jar is a double-walled bottle made of glass or stainless steel. The space between two walls is vacuum. So what two processes cannot take place because of vacuum? Conduction and convection. So that heat loss due to conduction and convection is minimized. Okay. Heat loss due to radiation is minimized by making the surface, inner surface you see in the flask is made of glass, and it is polished by silver color. Okay, so it is very shiny. So radiation, like any heat, cannot go in. What happened? it is reflected back. This way the heat is like protected by the warmth of the liquid, is protected by conduction, convection and radiation. As I told you, conduction, bottle cap and the case of the bottle, jar of the bottle made of plastic, so conduction cannot take place. In between the two jars, inner jar and outer jar, vacuum is there, so conduction cannot take place, and also convection. And radiation we can stop by making the inner lining silvery. So this way we can prevent the loss of heat. That's all for this. Thank you, children. Okay, children, now we are going to discuss about chemicals and chemical changes. We know all the substances, they are made of chemicals. We have taken pure substances. Pure substances may be made of element. Like we take the example, oxygen gas, all atoms of oxygen are of same, all atoms are same. So pure substance, that is made of element oxygen. Here compound, we are taking water. So all the molecules of water, they are this. What are elements in water compound? First, elements. An element is a substance that is made up of only one kind of atoms and cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical means. Example, silver, gold, aluminium, hydrogen, oxygen, that's all. And now come to the compound. A compound is a substance that is formed when two or more elements combined chemically. And now all you are aware how they combine chemically, chemical reactions and all take place. Mixture, what are mixture? Mixture consists of two or more substances simply mixed together but not chemically combined. We can separate them easily. Now come to the chemical symbols, children. Symbol, all you know. The tables are given in your book. You learn from them, like simple I am telling you, hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, bromine, okay, boron, neon, uranium, calcium, magnesium, so many are given. So you learn this table number 4.1 from the book. We can ask the symbol. Now come to the next, atomicity. What is atomicity, children? Children, what is atomicity? Combined atomicity. Like atoms, in this you listen carefully, atoms exist. I told you some atom exist alone like helium. One atom can exist. But oxygen, no. One cannot exist. It attach with the other one and it forms O2. Is this clear? So some atoms they can the number of atoms present in one molecule of an element is known as its atomicity. Like oxygen, we say atomicity is 2, helium 1, okay, and sodium 1. It can exist alone. Now tetraatomic, like P4, 4 atoms are there in one molecule. So atomicity is 4. Now chemical formula. Children, all you know how to make chemical formula. Like HCl. How? You know the valency. Cross it. HCl. One will come here, one will come here. Same manner, like you can make of NaCl. Valency 1, 1. Cross it. NaCl will be formed. Now what is valency, children? First you learn valency, combining capacity. What is valency? The combining capacity of atom. Combining capacity of an atom is called its valency. Okay, combining capacity. So some are having 1 valency, some are having 2, some are having 3, some are having 4. You learned the table 4.4 for this. Formula making I have already told you. Now chemical equation, I have already sent one video of chemical equation, how to write chemical equation, how to balance it also. Okay. Now chemical changes we are going to discuss. Chemical changes. First is rusting of iron. All you know, for rusting of iron, what 3 things are important? First is iron, any item of iron, and in the presence of air means oxygen and moisture. Moisture means water. Okay. When these 3 things react, they form Fe2O3. This is what you know how we have made the formula. Iron has 2 valencies, 2 or 3. Here which valency is taken? 3. Oxygen has 2. Cross it. What is formed? Fe2O3. And children, this water will remain intact. Like I have used 5 molecules of water, so it will be 5. This is what? Iron oxide. What is this? Iron oxide. I have not balanced it because here we are, I can let us balance the water as it is, and here 3, here you write down 2, and this is 4. So this is balanced equation of iron oxide. Now come to the second one, chemical changes. Achha, second is a reaction between vinegar and baking soda. Vinegar, what is the chemical formula of vinegar? CH3COOH. Baking soda, NaHCO3. Children, wherever you find this CO3 means carbon dioxide gas is going out. Now we will take this CH3COONA. What is formed? Sodium acetate. Plus, this is left behind CO2. 1 H is this, 1 H is this, and 1 O is left from this. This is water. So in this reaction, sodium acetic acid and sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, sodium acetate will be formed, carbon dioxide and water. Next reaction is copper sulfate plus iron. Here we see that this is metal, this is metal. The more reactive metal is going to replace the less reactive metal. So here this is more reactive than copper. So it is going to replace it. Iron, sulfate and copper will come out. Okay. So these are the reactions. Crystallization. Next topic is our crystallization. What is crystallization? Crystals. The process by which an impure compound is converted into crystal is known as crystallization. We can make crystal of copper sulfate as well as sodium chloride. That's all, children. Okay. Now one more equation I would like to discuss. It is in the book, page number 57. Page number 57. Balancing the equation. First is MgO, all you know. Sodium chloride, all you know. Now I am doing that. First is magnesium plus oxygen. It will give MgO. Balance it. Simple. Here O2 is there. 2 you make it here and 2 right here. Second is sodium plus chlorine Cl2. It will give NaCl, because here 2, then 2 you write down here. So 2Cl is there, but Na2 to write down 2 here. Third is ammonium plus chlorine, children, it will give Al2. Why? Al has 3 valency, Cl has 1. So Al Cl3. This would be the formula. Okay. Now balance it. Al 1 here, but here Cl is 2, but here 3. So what you are going to do this? If you are going to make 2 molecules, then Cl would be 6. So here how you are going to make it 6? By writing 3 here. 3 2s are 6. This is also 6. This is also 6. But Al is 2. Okay children. I hope the things are clear. All the best for test. Bye.